Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. My name is Philip Endersby and I am your MC for today. We would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri and the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation and also pay our respects to elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to all Indigenous Australians present today. Welcome to our hybrid meeting and to those online and in the room. Thanks today was to be given by our District Governor, Amanda Wendt, which will be followed by the Loyal Toast, but Amanda has been tied up with some media commitments, so yours truly on the stand will deliver her address in her absence. Please ensure your glasses charged. I guess while you've got your glasses charged, President Adrian, how about you just do the toast and then I'll deliver what Amanda has to say.
That's right. All Rotarians and guests, a toast to Australia and Rotary International. Australia and Rotary International.
Some of you may well ask what's happening in Rotary when someone like me stands dressed like this today. Suffice to say, ties became optional in Rotary. Pants haven't yet become optional, but after this lunch, a number of us are playing tennis down at Rod Laver Arena. Hence why I'm dressed like this, because I'm back on the court. So this is from Amanda Wendt. In a world where change is constant and challenges are ever evolving, the power of youth as change makers and community leaders cannot be ignored. Today's youth possess the passion, energy and innovative thinking needed to shape a better future for all. From challenging the status quo within their professions, to organising community service projects, to launching social entrepreneurship ventures, young leaders are leaving a lasting impact on society. Rotary International has long recognised the immense potential of young leaders to create positive change, not just in their vocations, but in their communities. Our youth programs, often referred to as the crown jewel of Rotary initiatives, provide invaluable opportunities for young individuals to develop leadership skills, foster global connections, and spearhead impactful projects. For us more experienced Rotarians, who ourselves started our Rotary journey in our 20s and 30s, know firsthand how life-shaping Rotary is, especially the ability to be mentored by the likes of David Whitner, Mary Barry, Robert Fisher, Bev Brock, and the beautiful Cynthia Edgell. Beyond celebrating our youth, Rotary must actively encourage our young leaders to lead authentically, to provide a supportive space for them to have a crack, and to be mentored by them, enabling us to see beyond what has been done before to the possibilities of what could be done instead. Today we shine a spotlight on exceptional youth who are already stepping up as change makers and community leaders. I thank you for your vision, resilience, dedication, and for lighting the way towards a more inclusive and sustainable future. Together, let us stand beside them to support their endeavours and ensure that their voices are elevated. The world needs their leadership now more than ever, and with their determination, empathy and the support of organisations like Rotary, we can create a better today and tomorrow for all. For good food, good friends and the ability to serve, we give thanks.
Thank you, and please remain standing. Thank you to Phil, and in her absence, thank you very much to Amanda today. It's with much sadness that I advise members today of the death last Thursday of our great friend Cynthia Edgell. Cynthia Edgell was inducted into the club on the 5th of May 2004 with the classification Life Coach. Her sponsor was Robin Syme. Cynthia was born and educated in Hobart, training as a speech pathologist. She led the speech pathology department at the Royal Children's Hospital for 13 years. Experiencing, in her own words, a midlife crisis, Cynthia embarked on a steep learning curve and joined the world of financial services. Boldly, Cynthia once owned and ran a small vineyard at Steeles Creek in the Yarra Valley, and subsequently she found her passion in life coaching. Ever since joining Rotary, Cynthia was a most active and involved Rotarian, having been a member of the Public Relations, Membership Development, Vocational Service, Community Welfare, Reception and Program Committees, and the Malvern Group. It was in the Vocational Service Committee that Cynthia made her greatest mark. She joined the committee in 2005 and was a stalwart, having chaired it for a number of years, and led in identifying talent and leadership for club awards, recognising young achievers, vocational service, as well as the District Shine On Awards for the disabled. In 2008, a team from our club went to East Timor. She was the safety officer for our building project in Baucau. Together with Daryl Hawkey's wife, Julie, she went off into the country to check progress on our microcredit projects. In that year, Cynthia received the Axel Award for her enthusiastic service to the club and our community, most particularly due to her chairing both the vocational service and reception committees. Through Cynthia's membership of the Community Welfare Committee, she championed and led the mentoring program for the club with the Brotherhood of St Lawrence, been an advocate and promoter of the Rotary Connects project, and was pivotal in the founding and development of the club's think tank, formed from the club's women's group. Cynthia was a club director of meetings and fellowships for President Peter Rogers and Quinn Scalzo, and was group captain of the Melbourne Group and captain of groups. Volunteering was an integral part of Cynthia's Rotary membership, responding to calls for help with around the bay vintage sales and donations in kind. Her great service to the club is reflected in the many roles she assumed and in her support of the Rotary Foundation, having received the 2 Sapphire Paul Harris Level. Her amazing talent in identifying exemplary individuals for all our awards, such as the Young Achievers Award that we have here today. Cynthia was also Vice President of the club to Kevin Sheehan in 2019. She was awarded the club's prestigious Winter Mentoring Award in 2020, which was delayed due to the COVID pandemic. Once lockdowns finished, an in-person gathering was arranged and the award was presented. Cynthia valued her involvement to Rotary Melbourne and has demonstrated her commitment in so many ways in so many projects. She exemplified grace, dignity, friendship, and service above self in the same passionate way that she embraced life and everything she did. Her bright personality and can-do nature will be greatly missed. Let us pause for a moment to remember our good friend and colleague, Cynthia Edgell. A public memorial for Cynthia is planned for Thursday afternoon, the 1st of June, at Royal South Yarra Tennis Club, and details are from Joe in the Rotary office. But thank you to you all, and please be seated. We'll now be breaking for lunch and we'll reconvene shortly, and for those of you who are online, please take up the offer of the Zoom breakout rooms, which will open shortly. Thank you. Now, members, visitors and guests, it's my great pleasure to welcome you all to our 43rd meeting of this Rotary year. It's our club's 4,986th club meeting in our 102nd year. And finally, the countdown can end. The convention is here and is in town. So for our guests, we've been counting down to the convention each week for all of this Rotary year. So to get down to, we're here. Today's an important day in our club's calendar. It's the annual presentation of the Young Achievers Award. How appropriate that we've paid tribute to Cynthia Edgell on a day that we recognise our young achievers. We're very pleased to have as our special guest speaker, Gareth Andrews, former Australian rules footballer and CEO, Executive Director and founder of the Life Again Foundation, and previous Rotary Melbourne Vocational Service Award recipient. We're delighted that Gareth has agreed to speak today and assist in making the presentations to our awardees. Our 2023 awardees are Sebastian Antoine, joining us from London, England, and you can see him on screen, and Sarah Hanuna. Supporting Sebastian in this room are his parents, Ernest Antoine and Deborah Rhodes, and with Sarah, Athera Hanuna and Zaina Sogob. Please acknowledge and make our special guests welcome. Now, with the convention in town, we're delighted to have visiting our club, Rotary International President Elect Gordon and Heather McInally, accompanied by their aides, Stan and Susan Galansky, from Space Center Rotary Club in Houston, USA. And unfortunately unable to join us today as our very own District 9800 Governor, Amanda Wendt. You can please stand. Now, Gordon has agreed to address us shortly, but in the meantime, please join me in making them welcome. Now, I'd like to ask David Jones to stand up, please. Now, past President David Jones, AO, OBE, recently celebrated his 87th birthday, and David is our longest-serving member who celebrated 50 years at our club's centenary in 2021. Having been inducted on the club's 50th anniversary in 1971. Now, David connects us to our club's founders, being our only remaining member who is a member at the same time as the remaining charter member of our club, Tom Lothian. Importantly, David was club president when the Rotary International Convention was last in Melbourne 30 years ago in 1993. Welcome, David. Also today, we have Cambodian Rotaractors from Siem Reap as guests of President Aviv Palti and past President Maria Hicks from the Rotary Passport Club of Melbourne. We have Fanik Ron, Tola Nam, Lita Singh, Dub Che, Sokal Nov, and Aviv's guest, Jessica Palti. For induction today, we welcome Bharat Kaya, a former young achiever, and his guest parents, Zainab and Adnan Kaya. We have many visiting Rotarians, and I'd like to acknowledge in particular the tennis competitors here today. So please stand. The International Tennis Fellowship of Rotarians tournament has begun after an evening welcome cruise on the Yarra on Monday night. You may have seen the children's book available at the raffle table on the way in. That was written by Marcos Franco, who's here today, who's the world president of the Tennis Fellowship. Now, please, there are many books available for sale. They're $20. They're translated into English as well. All the proceeds are going to Rotary Melbourne's efforts for End Polio Now. So please, if you can, purchase one of Marco's books on the way out. But welcome to our tennis players. And also, so please be seated. We also have many more visiting Rotarians, visitors and guests of Melbourne, and please excuse me if my pronunciation is askew. We have from Victor Island, Lagos in Nigeria, Fred and Bekai Ijaweri. From Ghana, we have, please hold your applause to the end because we have a lot of visitors. But stay standing. We have from Ghana, we have Sergey Suru, who it's also his birthday today. From Chennai, he gets a clap, sure. From Chennai Chola in India, we have Narasimha Murthy. From the US, we have Ken Furman. From southeastern Pennsylvania, we have Krista Hulley. And from Chichester, Pennsylvania, we have David Hutz. We have from Kaohsiung, Yuanshan, Seba Cheng. We have Prakash Aswani, who's a visiting Rotarian. We have Peter Verbeek from Florida. And we have Narayan Krishna Karal from a fellow first club, the first club of Nepal, Kathmandu. Please welcome all our very special guest visitors. And if any of you have banners you wish to exchange, our President-elect Chris Soteropoulos is here, and please feel free to come up for a banner exchange whilst I continue. Well, thank you to all our visitors today. Thank you. Sorry. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to all our special visitors today. It really highlights the internationality of Rotary. Now, Gordon McInally will be Rotary International President for 2023-24. A member of the Rotary Club of South Queensferry in Lothian, Scotland, Gordon has been a Rotarian since 1984 and has been President and Vice President of Rotary International in Great Britain and Ireland. He's also served Rotary International as a Director and as a member or Chair of several committees, including Convention Chair for the Rotary International Convention in Toronto 2018. This isn't his first trip to Melbourne, as Gordon also visited as a member of the convention bid selection team, which comprised of 6 members, plus Rotary International staff in early November 2019. Gordon will speak to us on the importance of creating hope in the world. Please welcome Gordon McInally.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is indeed a great pleasure and a privilege to have the opportunity to spend some time today here at the Rotary Club of Melbourne. And I've learned to say Melbourne since I first came in 2019 and spoke about Melbourne. I am a great believer in the fact that the work of Rotary is not done in my office on the 18th floor of One Rotary Centre in Evanston, Illinois. The work of Rotary is done in each of the 37,000 plus Rotary clubs that encircle the globe. And that means that the work of Rotary is done right here in the Rotary Club of Melbourne. And so I thank you for your service to Rotary, and I thank you for all you do and all you have done over the years. I've been asked to say a word or two today about next year's Rotary theme, which of course, as you all know, is Create Hope in the World. I believe that hope is the thing that Rotary does and gives to people all the time. I have seen hope given to people in so many places, just as you will have seen hope given to people in the course of your service. So when I was asked to help craft a theme, which is not my theme, but our theme for the next Rotary year, I was drawn to the word hope. I spoke in January at the International Assembly of a lady in Thailand who I met many years ago, who had lost everything to the tsunami of 2004. She had lost her home, she had lost her livelihood. More importantly, she had lost her husband and her only 2 children. She told me that until Rotary came along to help her, she had lost all hope. Hope to continue, hope to live, but that through Rotary that hope had been restored. Much more recently, only last August, I stood at the side of an operating table in an operating room in a hospital in Manila in the Philippines, and I watched a 4-year-old girl with a hole in her heart being operated on and being given hope by Rotary. Hope for the future. Hope to be able to achieve a normal and a happy and a satisfactory life. That is what Rotary does every day. It creates hope, and it creates hope in the world. Because this is a world that I would suggest needs hope today more than it has ever needed it before. We see so many conflicts around the world. We've seen what's happening in Eastern Europe over the past 16 months or so in Ukraine, and we have seen Rotary's response to that. We've seen what's happening in other places like Syria and Yemen and Afghanistan. And Rotary is responding there by giving people hope for the future. You are giving people hope for the future right here in your own country. And that is why during next year, we will all endeavour to give hope in the world and to create hope around the world. I'm conscious that time today is very tight and you have a very full programme. So as Henry VIII said to all but one of his wives, I will not keep you long. But I will thank you once again for your service. I was delighted to be here 4 years ago as a member of the Bid Selection Advisory Committee. Believe me, in my wildest dreams, when I came to Melbourne at that time, I did not expect to be coming back again today as the President-elect of this great organisation. You have given me a great opportunity and a great privilege to be President of Rotary International. I make a pledge to you as I close by saying I will do my best to fulfil the duties of this role with every fibre of my being, and we will together create hope in the world. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, thank you, Gordon. What an honour to us here today that Gordon's attended our club, and what a wonderful message. And what an appropriate message of hope on this day of our annual Young Achievers Award, and importantly, as we then step to induct our latest member of the club. And with that, I'd like to invite Bharat Kaya to come forward for induction into membership of the Rotary Club of Melbourne. And I call on Bharat's sponsor, past President Robert Fisher, to introduce him to the club.
RI President-elect Gordon, President Adrian, members and guests. It gives me great pleasure to formally introduce Bharat Kaya for membership of Rotary Melbourne. Two firsts. Bharat is the youngest ever member to join us and the only young achiever ever to become a member of this great club. So that bodes very well for the future of Rotary. Bharat holds the position of freelance photographer and will have the classification of youth leadership photography. He will be known as Bharat. His Rotary mentor will be Quinn Scalzo, and he will be a member of Central One Group.
Bharat Kaya, we welcome you as a member of the Rotary Club of Melbourne. Today you enter an organisation of more than 1.2 million members in over 35,000 clubs in more than 200 countries, embracing the internationality of Rotary. We believe that you have the personal and professional qualities that will ensure the principles of Rotary will be safe in your keeping. The Rotary badge you will receive in a moment, and I hope you will wear with pride, indicates your commitment to the object of Rotary, to which we all aspire, to encourage the ideal of service above self. We expect that you will become an ambassador from us into the community in which you live, and we ask that you convey Rotary's aims in all that you do. We look forward to your pursuing with us the great work of Rotary. So with this expectation, I offer you the right hand of fellowship and ask that members rise and join me in welcoming you to membership of our club. Welcome. And I call on Robert Fisher to present the Rotary pin. So welcome, Bharat. Please be seated, and I invite you to respond briefly.
Hello, everybody. Exactly 1 year ago, I have received Young Achiever Award from Rotary Melbourne Club, and that day, I decided to be part of this beautiful club. And since then, I tried my best to commit and support some of the events and projects that they are holding. And today, I'm really glad and proud of myself because I'm really feeling good and part of a big organization, community like this. it's important for me because I came from disadvantaged backgrounds, and now it's my time for me. It's my time to give back to the community. That's why it's really important for me to be part of. Actually, I would like to quick thanks to some people who helped me and showed me to be a great example as a Rotarian. They are definitely Adrian Nelson, Rach Smith, Robert Fisher, Mary Berry. I went to overseas quick travels, and I met with some of the Rotarians over there. In South Korea, I met with Sugar Han. She was really helpful for me. And in Japan, Shinji Higuchi. They were really helpful to me on my travels. And also, I'm really sorry if I mispronounced their names, surnames, and if I forgot your name, I would like to let you know that like you guys means a lot for me. You guys having big part of in my life. So yeah, thank you, and see you around more. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat, and I'm sure you pronounced our names far better than I did earlier on. Continuing the theme of inspiring youth, subscribers to this week's newsletter would have read the biographies of our visiting Cambodian Rotaractors scattered around the room today. I call on Aviv Palti to tell us more.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this amazing meeting. President Adrian, thank you for welcoming us, and President-elect Gordon, very nice to meet you. I'm going to yield my time to the Rotaractors in Cambodia. We've got a few moments. I'd like them to share with you some of the inspirational work they do in Siem Reap, Cambodia. So if I can ask the Rotaractors from Cambodia to please come forward and share with the Rotary Club of Melbourne and the guests today a little bit about your processes and activities in Cambodia and how you create hope in the world, how you bring about social change. So please, Malcolm, feel welcome. We have got Panich, Deb, Lita, Tola, and Sokal. Sokal is the president of the Rotary Club of Siem Reap. Tola is the president-elect, and the other three are Rotaractors. Panich, over to you.
Thank you so much, Aviv. I want to make sure that everyone at the back hear me clearly. Yes. And we are excited, and thank you so much for having us here. Hello, everyone. My name is Panich, and thank you so much to President Adrian for allowing us a few minutes to speak about our incredible Retract Club in Siem Reap in Cambodia. The charter members of our Retract Club are members of an inspirational NGO which was founded in Cambodia 12 years ago by the Party family from Melbourne, Australia. They founded CRST, Cambodia Rural Student Trust, with the vision of breaking the poverty cycle through education, to educate us so we can become empowered and inspire other rural students to see the value of education. That education will change their life too. We are told that we are Cambodia's future leader, and that is our responsibility to help ourselves so we can help others. Rather than giving us fish, we are being taught how to fish so that we can sustainably improve our life and those of others.
Last year, CRST supported the charter of the Rotary Club of Siem Reap, and today we have over 50 members. Being a part of the Rotary family and supported by the CRST gives us an incredible opportunity to create a massive ripple effect in our society. Through our 6 projects, we reach over 20,000 rural students every year, providing them with the support and inspiration to continue going to school, so they too can move from poverty to empowerment like we have done. I cannot describe to you about the feeling of no longer being poor, as we can now see the blue sky and the sun, and we can see a lot of opportunity that education and mentoring have opened up for us.
We would like to share some of our sustainable and impactful projects. Project B, Bicycle for Education, where we distribute bicycle to rural students who walk 1 or 2 hours to school every day. And our mobile bike mechanic program also repairs hundreds of bicycles for rural students every year. And our Project G empowers girls by providing vital women's health education and distributing beautiful and long-lasting feminine hygiene kits to girls in rural high school. This enables them to continue going to school while they have their periods instead of missing a few days at school every month. And last year we educated over 7,000 students and distributed over 5,000 kits, which are all shown in our workshop in Siem Reap. And we are days for girls only gold standard enterprise in Cambodia.
Our Project L, Life for Education, distributes solar body study lights to students facing energy poverty, enable them to study after dark and illuminating their path toward a brighter future. Project R, Refuse, Reduce, Reuse and Recycle, our plastic education program. We educating rural students about the harmful environmental impacts of single-use plastic, and we provide them with some practical tools to manage their single-use plastic waste. Our latest project, Project W, Wash for Education, is bringing clean water and toilets to rural schools and their surrounding community. Last year, with the support from Rotary Club of Kilo East, Rotary Passport Melbourne, and Rotary Foundation, we built 5 water filtration systems and 11 toilets in rural schools. This improved infrastructure has already had a positive impact on health of students, resulting in increased school attendance. We are now in the process of finalizing a Rotary Foundation global grant to build WAS infrastructure and provide WAS educational workshop in another 12 schools.
In order to implement all the project as said, we have been mentored to follow the 5-step process to achieve our sustainable and impactful outcomes. Dream big, plan, act, correct, and continue. Each of our projects start with a thorough community needs assessment, where we meet with our potential beneficiaries, including students, community members, village chiefs, commune chiefs, provincial government officials, and even Secretary of State in our capital, Phnom Penh. After we gather all information, we document it and we send it to our advisors and mentor for the feedback. When all is ready, we write up our project plans and budget. We are then ready to implement our projects, and after each activity, we write our implementation report and we send them to our stakeholders, who include our sponsors, supporters, and collaborators. We then post extensively on our social media to share the stories of impactful outcomes, inspiring others to join our community service activity, and thanking our sponsor. We are so honored to partner and collaborate with Rotary Club on so many of our projects as we transform poverty to empowerment for thousands of rural students in Cambodia. And it really gives us a great pleasure on behalf of all Retractors of Siem Reap to extend our invitation to all of you to visit us in Cambodia, and with special and personal invitation to Rotary International President Elect Mr. Gordon McInally. You will be able to see firsthand that together we can make an even greater impact, leaving a legacy of hope, inspiration, and a better world for the next generation. Thank you so much, everyone, for your hospitality, and we really enjoy meeting and chatting with so many of you. Thank you so much for making us so welcome. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Gordon, if you want to create hope in the world, could you get a better example of that? That's fantastic, and many thanks to Aviv for organising for the team to come today. I have just a few quick notices before we move on to the business of today. As I said earlier, the convention is here, the convention is town. It's so great to have the international visitors who are present today. Our club has its own signature event this Sunday. It's the Rotary Club of Melbourne's Marvellous Melbourne Cocktail Party, Sunday evening at 5 p.m. at the iconic Windsor Hotel. To date, we have over 180 coming from around the world, from countries from as far away as from Norway to Nepal, from Brazil to Zimbabwe, from Japan to London to Chicago. It's a fantastic turn up. Bookings have closed, but for today only, for those who are here today, if you wish to come along, and the invitation goes out to you all, please visit our website and we'll be able to fit you in for Sunday's special cocktail party. One other thing that you will hear when you're at the cocktail party is a world premiere of the new Imagine Rotary song, which has been written and will be co-performed by our very own maestro, David Cram. So that's something not to be missed on Sunday. And of course, this afternoon, following our meeting here today, many of us will be venturing off to the Rotary Melbourne Peace Park, which is just on the other side of the Botanic Gardens, for the very exciting launch of the Peace Bells, which we've been working on for months and months. So Sally Capp will join me and our honorary member, Nobel Peace Laureate Tilman Ruff, to officially open the bells. Again, anyone who's able to come, and I know many of you will be there already, please join us. We've actually arranged to ensure that as many people as possible will be able to see the bells over the next few weeks, is to actually have the bells situated. So following today, we'll be moving the bells into the House of Friendship for the convention so that we can have as many convention attendees as possible see and learn about the bells, and then following the convention, they'll be back installed fully at the Peace Park. So a great opportunity, and for everyone who's going to the convention, which will be most people in this room, please visit stand 800, which is our Peace Bell stand. And now to the business of the day, and I hand over our meeting to our Club Director for Youth and Vocational Services, Iqbal Rota.
President Adrian, distinguished guests and fellow Rotarians, it gives me a great pleasure to chair today's meeting. It's a meeting that recognizes two fine young Victorians. Each year, the Rotary Club of Melbourne recognizes and honors outstanding young achievers with an award and a cheque of $1,500. In choosing a recipient, the candidate must be between 18 and 26 years of age, have demonstrated outstanding success in vocational training, academics, sports, or any business-related activities, and have made a significant contribution in the form of service to the community. This also reinforces the Rotary Club of Melbourne's commitment and support through the years to all forms of vocational services. This afternoon, we will recognize two awardees and present them with the Young Achievers Awards for 2023. For this, we congratulate them. We will also invite our recipients to talk to the club of their experiences and aspirations, and I hope we have enough time for questions because I think we have a lot to learn from these young people. Our first awardee today is Sebastian Atwan. In 2021, he's completed his Bachelor of Arts from Melbourne University with honours, and currently he's studying Masters of Science in Anthropology from Oxford University in UK. He's actually joining us from Zoom online, based in UK. Hi, Anne. Hi, Sebastian. He has also received numerous awards and scholarships during this period. He received Dame Elizabeth Murdoch Award at Bremer College, and in 2017 he received a Melbourne Global Scholar Award from the University of Melbourne. In 2022, he was also served as a board member for Central Ranges Local Learning Network, who assisted young people to stay in school and education programs. So welcome, Sebastian, and please give him a good applause. A second awardee is Sarah Hanuna. She is currently studying Bachelor of Psychology at La Trobe University. She arrived in Australia 3 years ago, and she's as a refugee from Iraq. And despite her young age and limited English skills, she can speak 4 different languages. She also received numerous awards, including Hume City Council Young Leader Award, and she's also a member of Victorian Youth Parliament and Youth Advisor at the Brother of St. Lawrence. So please give her the applause. Welcome, Sarah. Now I would like to call a very active member of our club, Colin Honey, to introduce our guest speaker, Gareth Andrews.
Thank you, Iqbal. In this club there are many distinguished people, none more than the winner of today's raffle, Peter Hollingworth, former Governor-General. And in light of the quality of all of you, I mean, Peter Jones, for example, there are some people here, David Jones, I mean, there are people here who are nearly as good as our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is a man of immense importance and achievement. He played football for Geelong, 130-something games, and then for Richmond he played in a winning premiership team. Talking of football, I played a game of football once. It was in 1969. It was the Oxford-Cambridge Australian rules match. I was full forward, and Gareth Andrews, who went on to become Attorney General, was their full back. Now, modesty prevents my telling you who won, but it wasn't Oxford. Anyway, the point about this is people are constantly mistaking Gareth Andrews for Gareth Evans. And Gareth Andrews has certain qualities. He cares about people. He is a person who has given his life to others in this state and nation. Not only a television presenter and a footballer, he was a footballer who was better at getting the ball than giving it. And in his later life, he's turned that around and he gives all of his money, all of his time and all of his life in charitable works. He has an organisation called something like Life Be In It, no, More Life, Live Life. What is it again? Life Again. Yes, that's what Peter Hollingworth and I are looking forward to. But he is a man who has done an immense amount, and we are honoured, we're really honoured to have him here again to speak to us. Now, I'll bet he talks about how you don't need to bother about other people. Just look after yourself. Whatever you do, become as greedy as you can, because that would be his message to young people today. But whatever it is, it's going to be worth hearing. And so I ask you to join with me in welcoming Gareth Andrews to the podium.
Well, thank you, Colin. It's great to be here today in front of the Rotary Melbourne, Club of Melbourne. I've always just totally been blown away by this club, the activities and the work that it has done, and to see the full house today and to see the quality of young achievers you've been able to get together, and to even be here and have 3.5 minutes of my speaking time stolen by the incoming international president. My speaking time has gone down from 20 to 8 to 5. So good luck with the second half of what I'm going to say. But to Colin, nothing has changed about Colin except he's gotten older, and it is interesting when we're celebrating young achievers. A couple of old 70, 80-odd-year-old older white fellas really take us back, but it means that encompasses, as Rotary does, encompasses a great age difference, and to see young people here welcomed and learning about young people, and to see the work that's being done is an example of what Rotary is all about. And also I'd like to, beyond taking a bit of the lend of you, Gordon, to welcome you and your wife Heather here on behalf of everybody. You've already been welcomed, but I might as well do it. And I'm also delighted to sit with Sarah, one of the young achievers. Full background has been documented, and see on the screen Sebastian. And as I was saying, Rotary Melbourne excites us for its actions, excites us for its activities, and it's always robust. That's what I like. I've been to many Rotary functions, and sometimes, Gerald, Gordon, they're not that robust. But, as long as you don't go too late into the evening because they're half asleep. But the work that the young people have done is just remarkable. And I love seeing two young people who are already making significant steps to not only be achievers in their chosen endeavours, but also there's no doubt about this, that they are future leaders. And it's the leaders that are needed more than anyone else in our society. And there are tough days. We're in tough times. And but there's always hope. I love the fact that we're talking about hope in Rotary next year. And the fact that we've got young people, and we tend to forget the goodness in people until we come to a function like this. Because it's easy, sorry, can you hear me? No one has ever complained. My voice as I get older must be getting softer. But to have future leaders, and at a young age, what impresses me both about Sarah and Sebastian is that they've set some plans in their lives at a young age. They've chosen their careers, and they've also chosen to make a difference at this early time in their lives. And one of the things I do say at this stage is, don't forget change. Change can happen in life. And if your careers don't suit you, make change. Don't get locked down into what you think you've set out to do. If you find an alternative path or a better path or a happier path, be prepared to take it. Because we all become the sum of our parts and our pasts. I did a couple of things differently at my age. I was going along in a particular course. I was playing professional football. At 23 years of age, I decided I wanted to take a year off footy. So I went over to Europe, bought a van with a teammate of mine and travelled around Europe. So the year I left, I'd been second in the best and fairest in the Geelong Footy Club, and the next year I didn't appear and I played in that Oxford-Cambridge match. They roped me and my mate in, and the one that Colin played in, and I can't remember, who won?
Not Oxford.
Oh, okay. I played in the winning team. Anyway, but I took a year off because it suited me then, but I still came back and continued my career, and 3 years later, I changed clubs. I went from Geelong to Richmond because I wanted to play in a premiership. And it all happened. Everyone said it won't be able to happen, you won't be able to do it, because back in those days, you couldn't change clubs. And halfway through the season in 1974, I flipped from Geelong to Richmond and played in the premiership about 10 weeks later. So it can be done, and part of the story that you people have got to be able to show is what you can do. And for me, looking back in the 50 years and beyond that I'm older than you, there are some just brief points I want to make because I've probably gone 4.5 minutes. But this is also for all of us, just quick ones. First of all, be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourselves up, be kind to yourself, because it is a tough world out there. And the first person you've got to be, because if you can't be kind to yourself, you won't be able to give of yourself to others. Live a balanced life. And looking at Sebastian's CV, Sebastian, I don't know how you get any time to yourself, but time management's very important. And my people of our era, I think they've gotten lost in all of that, what time management means. But time management is giving time to yourself, giving time to your family, giving time for your reflection, giving time for your work, giving time for giving. So just make sure you give time. One of the difficulties, I wrote an article many years ago now about whistling. You know, people used to whistle back in my days. And because I remember that, just as I'm saying, find time for joy and find time even in the busy cities where people get lost in their own thoughts or in their mobile phones or whatever. Give time to give joy, because there's nothing like giving joy, because you'll absolutely get joy back. And that's really important, particularly in this social media era, where people want to see your presence, your real presence, who you are. They'll see a bit of your smile. We can't see Sebastian properly, Is that you there, Sebastian? Oh, you've got good teeth. Otherwise, beyond that, just keep learning, and don't just stick to what you're doing. I've done 10 years work with Indigenous Australians through the foundation, and some of the work we've done and taking men, it was men back in the day, and it's all groups now, females, males, and others. We go on country doing a lot of work with Indigenous, and I've learned so much about that and it's suddenly that indigeneity and the future of Indigenous peoples in Australia is suddenly the hottest topic there is around. Be creative and don't live with regrets. That's why I say, if things aren't suiting you, change. Change is important. We have in Life Again, a gentleman at a function used these words. He asked people, have you done your best work yet? And it was interesting as he went through the trip asking people if they've done their best work yet and asked them, it was found that the majority of men said no. And it was interesting, he said, every time I've asked that and people say no, it's because it's been mainly men who 100% say, I haven't done my best work yet. Because our egos and what our expectations of ourselves are, we feel we haven't done everything that's needed of us. Women are different because they get together, they're motivated by different things and they talk together. But this wanting you to do your best thing. So when you get to our age, never get there and think that you haven't given it your best shot. I love the idea of giving it your best shot. You guys are giving it your best shot. And congratulations, I'm delighted to be here and present you with your award. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Gareth. What a wonderful words. Thanks very much. Now I would like to invite Sarah and President Adrian to just come onto the podium and give the awards. We can see you, Sebastian. We'll pass your award to your parents.
Well done.
Very good. Take it off your list. Yeah, this side. And then you'd like Sarah to come forward. Yep. Most work for Sarah. So Sebastian, here's yours as well. So we'll pass this on to your parents, and you're doing very well staying up at whatever time it is in Oxford at the moment. I'm guessing about 4 a.m. So certainly keep that strong coffee going. Right, back to you.
I would like to start by thanking everyone. Thank you Rotary Club of Melbourne for recognizing us today. Thanks to all members who are here today celebrating us. Thanks to my mom who have been supporting me along this journey. And thanks to my leader, Zena, who is here today and been supporting me along this journey. I feel honored and beyond than thankful to be standing here, and it's just a privilege for me. I humbly stand here today as the 2023 Young Achievers to share the journey that we need to take. My journey simply about 3 stages. First, inner journey. Second, outer journey. Lastly, public journey. First, inner journey. To introduce myself, I'm Sarah, born in Iraq. At the age of 13, we had to escape war, and we have to escape our country because of war. Moved to Jordan, hoping to get a visa to come to Australia. So during that time, I had no schooling. I started asking myself, what's the meaning of life? What's the purpose of my life? Why I'm living this life? So having nothing to do, church was my comfort zone to go. And it was a place where I could connect with others. During that time, I started discovering my faith in a deeper way. And I found that Jesus to be my role model. He loved people deeply with no judgment on who they are or what they have done. He helped people, fed people, and it was an incredible influencer. So here where I started volunteering at different churches, spreading the hope and love out for those people who need it. Secondly, outer journey. Now I came to Australia, Queensland, in the end of 2019. In 2020, I started learning English. Within 6 months, I already was studying Year 10 high school, and in 2021, I came Melbourne to study VCE Year 11 and 12. Now, those stages were extremely hard, not speaking the English well, and not having friendship or like people I could know well, and with limited experience and knowledge to do high school. So you would be asking what gave me hope at that stage. And well, the simple answer was the hope I found in my inner journey, the hope I found in Jesus. My faith was my main motivation to keep me going, to keep me living this life with a message and a purpose to live. This leads me to public journey, which I'm currently on. I'm currently studying my Bachelor of Psychological Science, hoping to become a psychologist, to be listening to those people and to those people in need, and be helping them to find hope in life. Beside my studies, I see myself to be out there encouraging, engaging with my community is something important. I'm currently Victorian Youth Parliament, soon will be standing in Parliament House, outlining an issue that matters to us as a young people. And also I'm a part of and a member of a Hume Job and Skills Workforce, providing feedback to have a better employment within this Hume City Council. I'm also a youth advisor at the Brotherhood of St. Louis and working as a youth trainee for Center for Multicultural Youth. I'm taking some leadership position there. I believe that each one of us here for a reason and a message to live for. Each one of us at a certain point would have experienced those three stages of journey: inner journey, outer journey, and public journey. My inner journey is finding hope in Jesus. And the outer journey, living a life wanting to be like him. And the public journey was hoping that we could embrace people with love and acceptance. I have chosen and I'm living my journey. Have you discovered your three stages, purpose, and your why? Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sarah. I will just now pass my mic to Sebastian to say some few words. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Iqbal, Gareth, and the broader Rotary Club of Melbourne for selecting me for the Young Achievers Award 2023. I don't envy the task. There are some fantastic young people in the state, so it must have been a difficult choice. I also want to thank Dr. David Cram, who initially connected me to the award and for nominating me. And thanks also to my parents who are here with you for lunch today. They showed me and raised me to know that we all have a responsibility and the ability to challenge injustice, and that change is possible, which is how I've tried to live my life so far. I'm sorry I'm not joining you in person for what is, I'm sure, a delicious lunch. I'm as far away from Melbourne as can be, which is very sad a lot of the time, but I'm here in Oxford for a year studying my master's in social anthropology. It's also about 5 o'clock and I can see the sun kind of poking up above the trees outside, which is a strange feeling. It's a real honour, a wonderful honour to be presented with this award and to be among such excellent company. Over the years, the Rotary Club of Melbourne has awarded an amazing collection of young people doing good work, and I'm quite humbled to join their ranks. This award is, I think, a recognition of the work that I've done, the hard work I've done over the past years, and my commitment, among many, many others, to making this world a more just and peaceful place. The award recognises not just me, but the many people who've been my colleagues, friends, and co-conspirators. The award recognises the homeless young people in regional Victoria and Melbourne, who, when I worked in policy and research at Youth Affairs Council Victoria, they shared their experiences and stories with me. I connected them with decision makers and politicians in the Victorian government who could and should listen and act on their recommendations. The award also recognises the disabled young people I worked with and supported to prepare a submission to the Royal Commission into Violence, Neglect, Abuse and Exploitation of People with Disability, making sure that these young voices were heard in this important process. And the award recognises the grassroots peace builders in Bougainville, Papua New Guinea, with whom I worked to build peaceful and just communities and rebuild after the civil war there. In all of these contexts, my role has been as a facilitator, a mediator, or a broker. I see my work as connecting people, amplifying the voices of people with lived experience, and building relationships with people who matter. These roles are often hidden away, and for good reason. This work is most easily done out of the spotlight. But this kind of work is also so important to making positive change happen in the world. Receiving this award recognises this kind of work. It confirms for me that this is the kind of contribution I want to continue making when I return to Melbourne after my course. So my studies in anthropology and politics and my work in policy and peace building have shown me the power of understanding other people's points of view. I think that many of the great challenges facing the world today can be best understood by considering the differences in how people see the world. People hold different values, beliefs, and expectations, and this is a good thing. After I finish here in November, I want to keep helping people come together, share, and understand each other's values, beliefs, and expectations. This kind of connection lays the foundation for effective dialogue, and in my experience, is essential to making the world a better, more equal, more hopeful, and more peaceful place. So thank you.
Well done, Sebastian, and thank you for your great speech. I think we're just running a bit of a time, so I'd just like to say a thank you to Gareth Andrews, our visitors and guests for attending this award ceremony. Now I'll pass it on the closing remarks to President Adrian.
Well, thank you, Iqbal, and thank you to your Vocational Services Committee and to Colin Honey as well for introducing our guest speaker, Gareth. So thank you to Gareth as well. Many thanks to all of our visitors and guests for attending today, especially our visiting Rotaractors from Cambodia. They're just wonderful. We wish President-elect Gordon McInally all the best for the year ahead, one that I'm sure you'll be traversing the globe and you'll be encountering all sorts of conditions around there. Just in Melbourne this week, you'll be encountering all sorts of weather conditions whilst you're here. We have a special gift for you from our friends at Wilderness Wear, who you're sitting next to with Phil Endersby. They're, I think, 500% Australian-owned company, wonderful company. We've got some very thick woolen socks for travelling around the world, so you don't get any blisters. And when you get back to Scotland, I'm sure they're very helpful as well. And a special Rotary Melbourne waterproof jacket as well. With Melbourne's famous 4 seasons in one day, you'll probably need it this week as well. So thank you so much for you, Gordon. I'll bring them over to you for attending today. It's very special for us. Thank you also to our MC, Philip Endersby, for providing the reflection, our District Governor, Amanda Vent, and also our lunch setup team and reception team, as always, for your efforts. If anyone can stay back a few minutes to assist with the pack up, they would be very appreciative. A reminder, our Wednesday meeting next week has been replaced with our international Marvellous Melbourne cocktail event this coming Sunday at the Windsor Hotel. There are still spaces available if you book today. We hope to see you.